after in 2016, and within 2 years, I just made it ready, which is the fastest made ever humanoid in the world.
And we have heard of the thought experiments from Einstein and Tesla.
Yeah.
So if you are doing the thought experiments, maybe we would like to interact more about that.
Uh, I didn't get you. So
So
can you?
the Einstein was very famous for making the
Yes.
thought experiments, where he would solve the problem by thinking about it in his mental
Yes. Yes.
laboratory. And
Yeah.
even
Yeah. Yeah.
Nikola Tesla first designed the product in his mind, and
Mhm.
he just made them. So there were very little experiments in laboratory. So that
Same
was
thing
very,
happened with me also, and no, I'm from the non-engineering background, and I
okay.
was not also a computer engineer or something. I was MBA, and I learned everything from myself. So
That that tells me that actually your
yeah,
innovation will not remain limited to what you know, but you can just go and explore anything because you it's a simple exploration for you. So
yeah,
you will be able to explore anything, and
yes.
then if there is a deep desire for you to create that, you can create that. I'm really very happy to know.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
we will,
so that's how it is all started,
yeah,
and
so we will interact more. Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah. So I have to tell something about that, or you?
Yes, we will interact. We'll watch a little bit of video and then we'll interact.
Okay,
Yeah. So yeah, Mansi will be coordinating.
okay, no problem.
Mansi, we can start.
Shiva, she had a problem with her laptop. She's just joining back.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Just let's wait.
So, Rajiv, would you like to ask anything to Ranjit on robotics or robot or
No,
would
no,
you
for
like?
sure, sure. It would be very interesting to talk when we have a discussion. I think the
Oh,
age of robo and then more and more work is being replaced.
Mhm.
And in the age of automation, and now obviously the challenge of making it more resilient, all the system processes
yeah.
wherever the
And
people were touching everything need to be replaced because of COVID. So I think the need for robots would improve
yeah,
increase dramatically.
and we all have to know something because I was just watching this video, and there was this expert who says that in next 15 years, so this is very important for everyone to listen. In next 15 years, artificial intelligence will take away 47% of the jobs. So it is very important for us to discover what is that unique thing about humans which you need to cultivate so that you still remain valuable. So what is that one dimension which humans have which robots cannot have? So we will discuss
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
No, but that is interesting. If the data says that 47% jobs would be taken away by artificial
In next 15
intelligence,
years, yes.
then 94% jobs would be created by artificial intelligence itself.
Well, good. So we will, yeah. So then what are those kind of jobs? That is the point. So this is
Then,
where we need to prepare people. We need to prepare people with understanding, okay, it's taking away jobs, but these are the jobs it is creating. That
so,
understanding is
so,
really, really interesting and
so
very good for you.
remember the days when computer was introduced in India by Rajiv Gandhi in 1984-85,
Yes.
the whole of India was up against him, saying that it will take away the job in banks. We are a lot more people. So, and then finally, computer ended up creating so many jobs and so much of wealth in India that Indian economy, from 500 billion jumped to $3 trillion in last 20 years.
So I also believe that artificial intelligence is a grand opportunity for humanity for a quantum leap of evolution. But then we have to understand actually that what does it mean for us humans? What is that dimension which is going to get redundant, and what is the new dimension which is going to come up now? Mansi, we can start. So Rajiv, thank you very much for interactions, and we're going to interact more.
Sure.
Shivo, Mansi is not here yet.
Okay, okay. I see her. I see her
No,
logged in.
no, her audio is not connected as of now.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. Some technical hitch. Yes, Rajiv. So, would you like to throw light on what kind of jobs artificial intelligence will create?
No, I think artificial intelligence is going to come in almost every aspect of the system, the process, and more we see whether it is, say, for example, a medical diagnostic and the process, what we actually unheard of, even in terms of mobility, everywhere it is going to be so pervasive is that uh, it would be kind of noticed by the absence of it. It would be so present everywhere. So I don't know in terms of what, in which area per se would be, let's say, top three users of artificial intelligence, but it would be everywhere.
So, just to clear a few more things. So, the computers took away the jobs that were repetitive and analytical. So, let me explain my understanding of what kind of jobs artificial intelligence is going to take away. So, after thinking a lot, I came out just with one phrase that these are the jobs artificial intelligence will take away, and that phrase is pattern recognition. Wherever there is a pattern recognition, all those jobs are going to be taken away by artificial intelligence at some or other point. So, how important pattern recognition is, just to explain that, let me just say this, that everyone we think is a great expert, basically his expertise is pattern recognition. For example, if there is a great doctor, what is he good at basically? He has gone through thousands of cases and he has imbibed all that. Because of that, he can understand a particular pattern. So when a new case is given to him, he can immediately connect, the dots and find out what is the pattern this patient will follow. So now artificial intelligence can do the job of pattern recognition million times better, not 100 times or 1,000 times better, millions of times better. And the reason is that the doctor, uh, he only knew just very little about, let's say, 50,000 patients, very little. But these artificial intelligence, all the data from everywhere is fed. There are millions of case studies are fed, and not just a small part of the life, the whole part of the life. And there is something called deep learning through which the computer keep learning. So it will be like the way it will recognize the pattern, humans can never recognize. So if we are in the job of pattern recognition, all those kind of jobs are in danger. And in that, if you see what kind of jobs are pattern recognition, all kind of experts. It could be a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, a psychologist, uh, astrology, all jobs. Whoever you think, a person who is an expert is basically expert in pattern recognition. So now we have to think, what is a human beyond pattern recognition? Are we just the pattern recognition? Is there something in us which is bigger than pattern recognition? What is that? That is the question. Is Mansi back?
So yeah, so I will like to add here.
Yes, she's back.
Shivo, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to
Yes,
add here.
Mansi, so while you were facing the technical glitch, we were discussing about the artificial intelligence and how does the job of pattern recognition. And we are at a question that, okay, today we think that pattern recognition is actually the highest potential of a human. But is there something humans have which is more than pattern recognition? That is the crux of dealing with artificial intelligence. That is the crux of maintaining the human superiority over machines.
Yeah, so there is one thing there.
Yeah.
What is better that human does is actually the creativity. So any jobs that are
Even
creative,
that is a pattern recognition.
not really. So there are two things. One is discovery and invention. So
Agreed.
the invention part of it
Yeah.
is actually what there is no precedence to it. You know,
Right. Great
so
point,
that-
Nitish.
yeah,
Yes.
that is the only thing that can be done. So like a painting or a music or something, because music is not a pattern, right? So
No, even that is a pattern. Even that is a pattern. That
everything is
Pythagoras
pattern.
already said.
Everything pattern. So there are two types of pattern. One is a macro pattern and a micro pattern. So pattern which is more at a micro level, obviously is going to be there. But micro pattern actually is actually creative. So creative jobs will remain. So the only way to
So
sustain.
see, Mitesh, I would say that creative jobs will be taken away later. But even those will be taken away. One day computer will paint also, it will sing also, and it will create the music also.
Yeah. So that's the whole everything about the fifth industrial revolution. So this revolution is actually about mind being automated. So till now, the computers and everything, there's automation was your physical body was
So,
getting
Mitesh,
automated. Your task.
we would love your inputs, and I would like to give one word to it so that people start to think about what kind of capability they need to develop. I would like to give one specific term to it. Like I gave term that the highest, what does artificial intelligence do is pattern recognition. So I would also like to give something what it doesn't do, right? So we will come to that. So Mitesh, thanks for your input. And you're also, I acknowledge you are also an innovator, and I acknowledge you here. Thank you very much for joining, Mitesh.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Also, I would like to add that I made the Rashmi robot, and this is the world's first emotional robot, which has the emotions.
Yes.
And in future, as you said, it's going to be converted into a creative machine. And right now, also, it can paint and it can sketch. So it is already there. But how actually you can resolve it, that I observed from very childhood that human beings are also robot as long as they are in
Great.
their
We will
mind.
discuss about that. You
Yeah.
said something great. So human beings behave robotically, but there are moments when they
Yeah.
don't behave robotically. What are
They
those
are
moments?
robot. They are robot as long as they are in their mind. Mind is a robot.
Yeah, and when they are not robots.
When they are out of their mind, out of
And what is
thoughts,
that? What is that space? Which is out of
that
the thought.
that connects to consciousness, that is out of
Great.
beyond
Thank
the
you.
machine.
Thank you. So robots cannot be conscious, human can be. And we will discuss more about what does it mean in practical terms. Thank you very much, Ranjit. Truly applaud your understanding. Yes, Mansi, we can start that. We will start it formally. So probably it was some conspiracy by Vishwakarma. And we have often seen this, notorious play by Devas. So probably Vishwakarma wanted certain things to happen here and not and start the session late. So probably it was a notorious play of Vishwakarma. Thank you very much. So Mansi, over to you with the formal.
Yeah, and Shivo, my laptop has been fixed by my husband, so I should be there. But till then, I can just continue here. So yeah, so welcome everybody. Pranam everybody. I am Mansi checking in from San Diego, and it's 9 o'clock. In fact, it's more like 9:30 now, and it's Tuesday, so it's Deva magic time. And every week on this time, same place, we invoke the Devas. And today we'll be invoking Vishwakarma. And we invoke and get to know the rasa and the rahasya of the Deva. Its applicability in contemporary times on 3 levels. We try to find out our 3 Deva Magic Sutras are, we dissolve the subconscious. So we look at all our patterns, our conditionings, our traumas, our wounds that are related to that particular Deva or the particular field that he's ruling. We observe our conscious and we expand the field. That's why we invite a lot of experts. We have a lot of interactions and discussions. And finally, we connect to the superconscious. We connect to the highest potential of man. We connect to the Devas and the ascended masters, and also the scientists. Today we are going to talk about science and technology. So to all the scientists who have ascended, and and we also connect to them. So that's our Deva Magic program. And first, I would like to talk about a very popular question that was asked in our groups. And that was about the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction that is happening in Capricorn. People all over the world have been watching the conjunction. Even though this conjunction happens every 17 years, this particular one is really the closest that these two planets have gotten with respect to the Earth in 800 years. So really a very, very special time. It's very auspicious because these are 2 of the greatest teachers who teach very different things, and they are conjuncting in Capricorn. Now, Shivo, as you know, is a master in astrology. He's the inventor of the energy matrix astrology. And he's also created space-time consciousness cycles and an astrological model based on it. So all the astrology that I have learned is through him. And people have been asking, what are the implications of this conjunction? And the implications are basically Capricorn is all your ecosystems, okay? All your man-made ecosystems. So for example, if you look at hospitals, that's a man-made ecosystem. If you look at transportation, that's a man-made ecosystem. Feel free to interact on chat because it's a very interactive session. So, if you think about banking, all these are man-made systems, okay? So Capricorn brings the focus on that. Right now, even the healthcare, right now in the pandemic, the healthcare is the biggest thing in focus and all its implications, financial and otherwise. So even that is a Capricorn issue. Now, what is the energy of Jupiter? Jupiter is like a blessing, okay? Jupiter it wants to expand any field, anything. It wants to expand it so it can benefit mankind. Okay, so it's really a blessing, and its energy is expanding. And what Jupiter does is, the cosmos has dreams for us. The cosmos has visions. We have visions, and we have visions on a collective scale. So this vision gets manifested in Capricorn. Like, for example, if someone is thinking that, something that is very good for the whole mankind could be a universal healthcare or affordable healthcare, or it could be any of those universal things that benefit everyone, or even in past times, the end of slavery, or any of those things that you really want to see it, a new vision. But democracy could have been the new vision in those days. Now, what does Saturn do? Saturn is the opposite. So Jupiter is like this expanding, and Saturn is like it actually is the energy of tapa. It will constrict, it will limit you so that you can do tapa. And what Saturn does is, Saturn is the scientific temper, the scientific method, the scientific rigor. The tapa you need to manifest that vision. So this is an amazing, auspicious time for a new vision to be seeded, a new technological, science-based, a vision to be seeded, and that is the blessing of Jupiter. And what Saturn will be doing is giving you the necessary tapa. So, for example, this pandemic is also a kind of tapa if you think about it. It has constricted and restricted us. So this is what the conjunction does, and that is why we are invoking Vishwakarma today, and we will try to seed collectively an intention for global good today during our invocation. Shivo, would you like to add something to this? And friends, if you don't understand something, please share, or you have any questions. Yes, Shivo, would you like to add something to the astrological phenomenon happening?
शिव सर आप म्यूट हो.
Sorry. So Mansi, you explained it very well. Jupiter Saturn conjunction in Capricorn is exactly the Vishwakarma energy. That is why we decided that today we will invoke Vishwakarma. Just one thing I would like to add, the conjunction which is happening today would be very valuable for people like Rajiv who are into man-made systems like transportation, a new transportation system. So this is actually a very auspicious day for Rajiv, and I would invite him today in invocation to seed this intention in the vibrational field. Yes, Mansi.
So, yeah. So we've talked. Before we get to the honorees, I would like to bring in what is Vishwakarma. But I want to explain the mythology of Vishwakarma, and I want to ask you a question at the end of it. How many of you have seen the movie Social Dilemma or know about it? We've talked about this in our Deva Magic, but has anyone, can you just give me a yes if you know about it, so I know how much depth to go in? Can you just share on chat? Okay, anyone who is not? Okay. So yeah, a few of you have not. So a Social Dilemma is a Netflix documentary, and it is about the insiders in social media talking about the manipulations that happen through social media. Sometimes they would have started with a good intention, but how it is influencing the world, how it is persuading, and really the implications, some of the negative implications of social media are there given by the insiders themselves, people who actually worked very closely in all these companies like Facebook and Google and such social media places. So let me explain Vishwakarma through that perspective. Okay. So Vishwakarma, I have to admit, even though I was an avid Amar Chitra Katha follower, Vishwakarma is not someone I knew about until a few years ago. I knew his creations and I knew his inventions, but I didn't know him. So who Vishwakarma is? He's a creative god. Okay, he's a creative deva. He manifests the cosmic desire, the cosmic vision. Okay, so he's the manifester. And this creator deva might sound quite similar to another deva whom we invoke very often in Quanto Life, which is Brahma. So what is the difference between Brahma and Vishwakarma? Okay, so Brahma, I like to think of him as a biological Deva, someone who creates a higher consciousness of beings. He creates all the beings that are in the universe, all the living things. And Vishwakarma is the creator of the material things. So whether it be art or science or technology, he works with materials. He is more the materialistic, and Brahma is more soulful. He's working with the living. He's creating the living beings. So this is what I felt the difference between the two was. And Vishwakarma has created many things. He's created vibrational fields like Swarg. He has created Lanka, which was not only the most aesthetic place during that time. It was technologically supposed to be so advanced, so incredibly fortified. It was so hard for people to even get in. It was so heavily guarded. It was impossible, and that's why when Hanumanji he was able to reach Lanka, they were like in shock because it was so technologically advanced. Even Dwarka is supposed to be reclaimed from the sea. That land is reclaimed from the sea. So again, a marvel of our mythological world. The Pushpak Viman. Again, Pushpak Viman is something that which has captured our imaginations, and it is and if you look at the Kalidasa and them describing Pushpak Viman, or even in the scriptures, the detail that they have about how it looked, how the Pushpak Viman, the views from the Pushpak Viman are like eerily, it's like, how did they know if it was not, if that Pushpak Viman didn't really exist? But anyway, we don't want to just dwell into the ancient glories. We want to make, have a more contemporary understanding of these devas. So Vishwakarma, and if you know, the Pushpak Viman again was used to abduct Sita. That's how we know the Pushpak Viman. Ravan took her through there, but it also was a way for her to come, her and Ram, to reach Ayodhya. They are supposed to have traveled in that. So we have Vishwakarma creating many protective weapons, like the Sudarshan Chakra, the Trishul of Shiva, even the Vajra weapon of Indra, which is supposed to really channel the lightning. That is what it is supposed to do through a very organic metallic material, which is Dadidi's bones, because it was organic, but he's supposed to have some metallic component. It was as strong as, they say, iron. So he constructs all these weapons, and there is and he has created for both devas and asuras. And one of the things that Shiva has discussed extensively in Deva magic is that devas don't really have that much creative desire to create materialistic things. They create them when they are trying to protect what is already beautiful. So they are, so even if you look at all the movies, if you look at all the Bond movies, it is the villains who have like sometimes the best technology. Not to say that technology is asuric, but if you look at Vishwakarma, he has been working with both devas and asuras. So I think my question to you would be that, do you see any similarity between, any correspondence between this movie's social dilemma? Because even if you've not seen it, I've spoken a little bit about it, and the energy and the consciousness of Vishwakarma. Do you see anything? This is mythology, and this is, of course, a current reality. Do you see any similarities or correspondences? So please let me know on chat. And meanwhile, I will just shift from into my laptop. So we have many. Yeah. So we have. Yes, so I agree that yes, the creations of Vishwakarma are also mysterious. Yes, they can be Devic and Asuric. I think Vanita is saying when people use social media to connect with each other, and the Asuric people use it to spread disharmony. Ramohan says narratives are drawn by manipulators, which create conflict and impact energy levels.
So Mansi,
Manisha says
yeah.
technology started with good intentions.
So what I would like to say is that I'm simply fascinated with the technology, artificial intelligence, the Facebook has created. So I was just watching sometime back Yuval Harari uh, video on YouTube, and he says that what you can feel about yourself, what you know about your emotions, Facebook knows better than you, based on whatever you have been posting, whatever your pictures are, and there are so many subtle signs based on which they can predict what your behavior is. And and we had Rajiv Srivastav saying that human beings are like robot, and this proves it. If Facebook can manipulate us, that proves that we behave like robots. And there I would like to say that yes, there is a road to the freedom. Why we behave like robots? A lot of people in Quanto Life, please share your comments. As you become more and more aware, you stop being robotic. You are less and less of robot, and then you cannot be predicted. So it is true that uh, people, when they are sad, they are not aware that they are sad. When they are feeling revenge, they are not aware that they are feeling revenge. But uh, these all these algorithm by Facebook, they can detect what is your state right now and where are you going. Now this technology is very, very fascinating. Now the problem is what is the problem is not in technology. Problem is that it is concentrated only in few hands. Just imagine if this technology was available to everybody in the world at a small price. Let's say at $100, everybody could have that software, and he could all the time check that, okay, how am I feeling right now? What are going to be my consequences? Probably that person will come to know that I'm going to fight with my wife very soon. And I can tell you from my own experiences in astrology that astrology is making predictions based on these patterns. So when we can clearly see that some disaster is coming to someone, and when we tell that person that this is what is likely to happen, right at that moment, 50% of the impact is already over, because it has come, the consequence has come to the awareness of the person. So just imagine the power if this technology was not concentrated but was available for everyone to see their own patterns and where they're going. First thing. Second thing, great thing which the Facebook does, and it manipulates us through that. It can push exactly the right ad to us, right? And I one thing I love about YouTube, so I'm watching YouTube videos, and then suddenly it suggests me a feed that I would have never searched for. So can you imagine what a great job it is doing, that YouTube feed? Of course it's also being misused, but what if this software was available for everyone? So I could come to know right now who is the next person I should connect to. If I'm thinking, okay, I wish I had the guidance in this matter, somebody could tell me this. And the software can tell me, okay, here is this person, so and so in Bolivia, and he can give you a solution. It can do that. with pattern recognition. That's what the Facebook is developing. The problem is not technology. Problem is that it is concentrated only in few hands. The day this technology is available to everyone, it will lead to huge leap of evolution. Just imagine 90% of our lives we spend trying to figure out the right people, the right product, the right job. Just imagine if you are not stuck into all that. Your customers, who are your best customers, are there right in front of you. You don't have to find them through advertising, right? So just imagine what this kind of technology can do for all of us. So here I am seeding an intention today in quantum vibrational field, that the technologies which are there right now only with the Facebook and Google, and through with some very destructive people, let those technologies be out in the public domain, and let all of us are able to uh, access and also help those technologies evolve in becoming better and better. Yes, Mansi.
Yes, thank you, Shivo. I also request that, sorry guys. So I also request that if Sandeep has logged in, to please let me know, or please let us know in chat. I'm working from my mobile today, so it's hard for me to it's getting hard to keep track of the chats and everything.
There is just
But
some
Shivu, I had,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So there are talk
yes,
about
Shivu.
breaking down Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. Whatever. See, we are talking here a consciousness perspective. So what we are saying is that let what is available to Facebook, and through that it manipulates us, let that be available to the whole world, and then it will be a creative tool and not a manipulative tool. Yeah, Mansi, please.
Yeah. So Shivu, one of the other questions I had was, right now the current trends show that China is poised to overtake USA as a superpower. And this is really like a concern to most countries. Um, and do you think there is a chance that, the way it's going, it seems like China is going to emerge as the next superpower? Do you think there's any chance that US or other countries like India and all can hold a edge over China?
Yeah, so let's understand what is the strength of China and what could be the weakness. When we understand that, then probably we can deal with China better. So the strength of the China is, I read a very beautiful statement which said that the way the Saudi Arabia is the superpower in oil, same way the China is a superpower in artificial intelligence, because so much data is flowing there. Now, why there is so much data flowing in China? There are two basic reasons. First, it has got a population of 1.4 billions, right? So there is a potential of huge data. Second reason is because it's a controlled society, so government can control, extract all kind of data. It can put all kind of data into any kind of use, which is not possible in US. US population is much lesser. Also, there are always hue and cry about privacy. People will not allow you to access your data. So there is so much data flowing in China that just based on that strength, it can become a superpower in artificial intelligence. But what is the weakness of China? Weakness of the China is that the data quality from China is extremely poor. And why it is extremely poor? Because people are much more robotic there. They can be controlled. They think in more fixed patterns. You can group them and you can understand that they all are going to behave in the same manner, which is not the case. And actually, if you look at genetically also, China is the most genetically harmonious society, least diverse society in the world. So that is the weakness. So China can be very good in pattern recognition and people control, but it will be very bad in creating something, because creation can happen only when there is diversity. And there is very little diversity in Chinese data, the diversity which is available in US and in India. So I think that is a strength we should be working on, to tap on our diversity and to create. Yes, Mansi. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Shivo. I would like to welcome my husband, Brijesh Sarpate. We'll have him on. Brijesh, could you check in with Sandeep? Yeah, before we go ahead.
Yeah, I'm checking.
So Shivo, one of the other things, because we're talking about science and engineering, I wanted to ask why did you leave engineering? I know it's, I was like, I should use this opportunity to ask that.
Yeah. So
Because, you graduated from one of the premier institutes in India. And I believe Rajiv ji also was your
he was
senior
my
there.
no, he was my buddy. He was my very
He's
dear
your buddy,
friend.
yeah.
And there was a lot of time where in the hostel we lived very close to each other, and we had a lot of interaction. And I was quite a good student in engineering, and I would have been a good engineer, but at some point of time I realized that I wanted to go beyond machines. Probably I wanted to understand humans more, and uh, maybe I even have engineering approach even to understand humans actually.
Okay. We are grateful you did that. So we're still
I'm happy
waiting.
that I made the choice. It was a very difficult choice, but today I'm very pleased I made the choice. And Rajiv has been keeping in touch with me for years, and so he also has gone through. He has also seen a lot of my journey in past many years. Uh, but today, after a long difficult journey, today I'm very very satisfied with. I don't think I made those choices. Those choices happened to me actually.
Awesome. So while we get my brother-in-law, we have two very hostile, reluctant honorees today who claimed that that this was nepotism if I invited them. But I would love to invite my beloved husband, Brijesh Sarpate. And I normally read the intros, but I think being my husband, I need to give him a Bollywood intro. So can we have Brijesh on spotlight, please? So, when we got married, when we had decided to get married, we both were in US, and there were a lot of questions on how Bridge looks like and what does he do. And I think the answer that was given during those days was that he looks like Saurav Ganguly. And I do not agree. I think he's far more handsome, but the movie Swadesh was playing, and in that, actually, Shah Rukh was working on a NASA project where, they were monitoring, there was a satellite for monitoring rainfall, okay? And it was called the Global Precipitation Measurement. And actually, that exact project was outsourced to the company Brijesh was working for. So that was exactly the project he was working on. So that was how we introduced him to everybody in India. And talking about another filmy connection, when I was going through, Brijesh is not very active on Facebook, so as I was going through his FB post just to find a picture of him, because in every picture of Brijesh, we discovered it's either me or Ishan with him. So I went to Facebook to find a solo picture of him, and I saw that. And I remembered that in around 2009, he used to work with autonomous vehicles. He used to create these quad rotors. And he had actually named that project Pushpak. He wanted it to be an open source project, and he named it Pushpak. And if you remember Three Idiots, it was a very tragic scene, but Amir Khan worked on a batchmates project, and, they had this flying quad rotors. So that is one of Brajesh's hobbies. And he also wrote something on that Pushpak post which I feel is very applicable in today's session, which is any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. This is by Arthur Clarke, and I feel it's really what technology is, that if it is sufficiently advanced technology, it just feels like magic. So currently, Brajesh is the director at NLP Medical, where it's a cutting edge biomedical startup. So Brij, I know you are, at NLP, you are developing a device for treating chronic back pain. And I'm like fascinated by how it works and how it is different, how it is radically different from something that was already existing in the market. So warm welcome, and can you walk us through that?
Sure. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for everybody who is here and giving me their time. So at NLP Medical,
Brajesh, real warm welcome, and thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. So at NLP Medical, yes, we are treating chronic pain, so back pain with because of an accident or a surgery gone bad, and this is like people who have pain in the scale of like 8, 9, 10, like out of 1 to 10, and they're living with that pain 24 hours a day. So the existing technology puts into the body a big device, something like a chewing gum packet, a little bit thicker, maybe this thick. It has a battery and it has electrodes. They put it in your back, and the electrodes are in the spine. So it's a big lump.
And that's inserted through surgery, right, Briju?
Yes, it's put, yes, you cut open the back, you insert that like a wallet-sized device into your backside, just above your hips, and the electrodes are put in the spine, just like epidural, what you get. The issue is that the existing devices are big, so there's a lump at your back, plus they have a battery. So once the battery dies every 3 to 5 years, then you have to again go through a surgery to replace it. And then what they have is called as pocket pain. Since it's a huge amount, a big device sitting inside the body tries to reject it and causes pocket pain. So our device, the main utility of our device is it doesn't have battery, and it's 40 times smaller. So the battery is external to the body, and we transfer power to the device wirelessly through the skin. So because of that, our device is like 40 times smaller. It doesn't have a battery. It doesn't need to be replaced every 3 to 5 years. So once you put it in, it's good for like 10 to 20 years. So that's basically what we are trying to do. So we didn't invent the technology. We just built a better mousetrap.
That is, Brajesh, and how small is the current one? You said that the earlier one was wallet size. How small is the current technology that is being created, developed at NLP?
Like if you take 25 paisa, like coins in India, stack them around 5 of them on, no, 3 to 4 of them on top of each other. That's the size of our device.
Wow. Such a change, compared to, yeah, if I had to have something in my body, definitely I don't want the battery to go dead. And definitely it's better to have something of this, much smaller. So, Brajesh, I know you've been working with these, with many of these biomedical startups over the years. Could you share the one you had, about finding the fluid in lungs and what it did? Because I felt that was such a life-saving technology. Could you walk us through that?
So that was about heart attacks, or so when people's hearts becomes weak, there is a word, a medical term, I'm forgetting what exactly is the medical term. So it doesn't pump enough blood, so the blood kind of backs up in the lungs. The lungs get filled with blood slowly, and you literally drown in your own blood because the lung is not able to absorb any more oxygen. So currently there is no way to measure or quantify the amount of blood in the lungs, whether somebody is like accumulating blood or what's happening. And so things just suddenly go bad. You're fine. You just feel a little bit hemothorax. Probably. Yeah. So you're just feel tired, you feel bad, and suddenly one day you're heading to the emergency because you can no longer breathe. There's no way to detect it. So what we were trying to do was to measure the amount of blood in the lungs using something very similar to your ECG electrodes. So you have an array of 40 electrodes on your back. You send electrical signals into the body and measure the response. Based on that response, we were trying to see if we can measure the amount of blood in the lungs. So that was the technology.
Such amazing projects, Raju. And what was so one of the synchronicities, we often talk in Quanto Life of synchronicities. Brajesh would work with, before he went into biomedical devices, he used to work with the setup boxes also. And, Ishan, our son, was going through open heart surgeries of his own. We were meeting cardiac surgeons. And that was very much in our consciousness. And that is when, even Brajesh was working on this. Just one of those synchronicities in life, and how he also changed this field. Talking about life stories, Brajesh, I was mentioning one of these incidences because we've been talking about what makes an inventor, what makes an innovator. And one of the personal stories that I would like to share about Brajesh and, how proud I am to be his wife is, when we were many years ago, when Brajesh was working, he was working in a startup which was almost ready to close down. And he had not been drawing salary for several months. And, we were like, for several months, because, if he drew the salary, it was like the company was hanging by that much, on tether hooks that he could not even draw his salary. But at one point, they realized they cannot go any further and the company shut down. That is also the time I discovered that I was pregnant. And, in US, he was on a H1, I was not working, and you have insurance. We didn't even know the huge journey we would have to take with Ishan at that point. And the next day he walks into this company, Dynex, and he gets a job. Actually, his company closes. The next day he walks into a company, Dynex, and he gets the job. And the job is for a very highly technical person to solve a particular problem. And Brajesh starts working, and we are like, okay, we are back on track. And 2-3 days later, it was literally like 2-3 days later, he comes and tells me what's actually happening. And, he's looking at me, and I said, okay, you got to do what you got to do. So he talks to his boss. His boss is zapped. He calls his boss. And, the boss also comes, and they are at this meeting. And what has happened was that the problem they had called Brajesh to solve was a highly technical problem. So he was called. But now Brajesh had solved that problem, which would save them a tremendous amount of money. But he had solved the problem in such a way that they no longer needed a technical guy, a person as technically qualified as Brajesh to work on it. So basically his boss is laughing, and he's saying that, Brajesh, are you just talking yourself out of a job? And long story short, they did keep Brajesh on. It was a huge risk. And considering the situation of my pregnancy, the H1, he really put himself out there, and really proud to call him, my husband. Because
Mansi, that brings me to one of the qualities of innovators, that they are not scared of unknown. So Brajesh did not try to hold on to his known world, but he was ready to take a leap in the unknown. And actually it is his quality of adventure to be able to be with unknown. That's what makes him an innovator.
Shivo, half of the people thought that we were crazy.
They would,
because it was so hard to
innovators
get.
are supposed to be crazy. I mean, you cannot keep living in your secure zones, thinking about your security, about your future, and be an innovator. You cannot do that.
So are there any yeah, so we
One more thing,
Shiva, any
Mansi,
more questions for Brajesh?
one more thing. Let me let out the secret. I was discussing with Ranjit Srivastav. What if the intelligence is excellent in pattern recognition? What is that it is not good at, which humans can become good at, is to deal with unknown. Artificial intelligence can never deal with unknown, but humans can deal with unknown. So in the future, the humans who can deal with unknown, their jobs cannot be taken away by artificial intelligence, because they are the one who will be programming the artificial intelligence, the people who can deal with unknown. Because all these artificial machines, the robotics, they need constant reprogramming, and a human has to do that. A human has to understand how the life has changed, what are the new factors have come in, and that need to be fed to these artificial machines to function. So the people who can deal with unknown, they are the people who are poised to rule over robots and artificial intelligence.
So true, Shivo.
Yeah, I will also
So
take
thank you so much,
Ranjit to you a
Brajesh.
little later. I
Yeah,
will also
please
take
stick
Ranjit
around.
to
We
you.
will, since I have been accused of nepotism, I will flow with it. So next, I would like to invite Sandeep Sarpatil, the younger Sarpatil
And we are very
of the
happy.
Sarpatil brothers. Can we
Mansi,
have him on Spotlight?
this is a pure blessing that a lot of the family members of Quantos, very accomplished people. So a lot of people can, they can say, oh my God, nepotism, because last week we had Mansi's Masa.
We had
So
Gautam Masa
yes,
and
so but we were
Kavita's
that
husband.
guy, he's a legend. He is a legend. So we are happy that a lot of our family members are so accomplished.
Brajesh, there is a question that is there, is innovation happening for like aging diseases like Alzheimer's and other mental health
I think there is
issues?
a
Are you aware?
sciatica pain also. There was some question. Sciatica also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any new innovation for treatment of sciatica?
Shivo, I'm sorry, Brajesh, are you aware of that space?
Yeah, no, I just replied in the chat. No, I'm not aware. I'm not that much on the medical side of the things. I'm more on the engineering and technology side. So I won't be able to answer questions regarding
Yeah,
treatments of
Brajesh is more
particular
like, let me
diseases.
know your problem and I'll figure out a way to fix it. And he does that everywhere in our house also, actually. Thank you, Brajesh. So would like to invite Sandeep to the, can we have Sandeep on Spotlight?
Hello, welcome,
Hi,
Sandeep.
hi, Sandeep.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having
So
me.
Sandeep is the senior manager at Tesla Energy, and he's developing battery systems for energy storage applications. And you're really working at what is tech royalty, right? Everyone's dream job.
It is. It's definitely.
Before I get to that, because the problem with nepotism is many stories that you wouldn't know otherwise. And my mother-in-law has regaled me with exploits of Brajesh and Sandeep, and they might be innovators today, but I think as children they were more like troublemakers. These are the kids who will, instead of, I know that Sandeep has not got into Tesla by standing first in every single class from childhood. Hardly. There are other stories about that. But these are the kind of kids who would, instead of reading a book, they would open up things to figure out how things work. And one of my, not my favorite, I wouldn't say my favorite, but my mother-in-law would tell me this when I was pregnant, and I was like, do not tell me these stories when I'm pregnant. I do not want to have a troublemaker on my hands. But one of the things that Sandeep did when he was a child is, he was looking at the scooter tires, and he is like, oh, I need to fill this with gas. And then he had the brilliant idea of going to the kitchen, getting the cylinder, and wanting to use that gas to fill the scooter, tire. Fortunately, for all of us, he didn't go, he kind of worked it in his head and decided that was not a great idea. But, this is the things that these two have been up to. I know the digital clock that you created in Gulbarga still works after so many decades, and many more things like that. So welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So my question to you is, basically, working for Tesla is like the holy grail, right?
Maxi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My computer got stolen this morning.
Working for Tesla is like the holy grail for many of the techies out there. What does it take to have a job at Tesla?
I think Elon has said that he doesn't look at degrees, which is true. So
then what does he look at? Yeah, what does he look at?
Are you able to think critically and solve a problem, basically? Then are you, like you just mentioned initially, are you frazzled by unknown? Like, basically, are you willing to go and explore and figure out a solution? And basic engineering judgment, like, not necessarily a degree gets you that. Like, Wright brothers didn't have a degree, but they made a plane. So that's the basic thing. Like, those are the basic qualities, I guess.
Yeah. So Sandeep, before I have Shivo ask you more questions. What is Musk like? Can we get some inside information about him? A lot of people are his fans. I mean, he is in the public, like my question to Sandeep was, is the guy crazy? Is he a genius? Is he both? Like, who is this guy?
I don't interact with him directly as much, but I've been in his presence a few times, and my observation of his and has been what he shows to the world, like on Twitter or online or whatnot. It's the same thing. It's no difference. And many times, literally, like, what are we working on comes through his Twitter feed. Like, oh, he tweeted this, so I guess we're working on this now. So that's the clarity there. It's just one single direction that the entire company is working towards. And that's what gets Tesla to do so many things, or everyone in Tesla gets to do so many things. A lot of engineers want to solve problems, so leave them be to it, as opposed to pulling them in many different directions. I think that's the observation I've seen, where if there's no clear, defined mission that you're basically, the whole company, whatever it's doing, whether it's making cars or energy storage or anything, is one objective, clear objective, then it goes in every different direction. Like different companies will make apps and this product and that product. There's no coherence. But having here, like, clear, like one statement of that Tesla mission, that's it. So everybody looks at whatever they're doing is clear. Does it help that mission? Yes or no? It's a clear answer. And just stay focused and work on that, basically.
Wow. So there is a sense of oneness that runs through the company, I guess. There is something, that, and everyone is hyper aware of it. Is that what it is?
Yeah, there is hyper aware, and everybody's connected to the mission. Like, that's the key there. And
everyone is connected what?
With the mission.
Yeah.
Of moving to sustainable energy. Fundamentally, that's the key there, and understand the climate impact of it and everything else associated with that. So with that clarity, there's no ambiguity of what needs to work. or what a person should do now versus later, or whatever else. So, and also the focus comes from Elon too, many times. You've probably seen a bunch of his emails online and whatnot. So clearly says this is the goal for this half of the year or the next half of the year for the entire company. So it basically sets the clarity there, and everybody is like clear and focused at that point.
Wow. Shivo, I know Sandeep needs to go. He has an appointment. Shivo, do you have anything to ask Sandeep before we let him go?
Yes, so I am just very curious on one of the Tesla project, and I'm not even expecting an answer. But
Sure.
if you have the answer, I'll be very happy. If not now, maybe later. If you have an answer at any point of time about that, it's a very area of my keen interest. So I was going through this marsh habitation project, and I was zapped at how he is thinking of solving one of the key problem on the marsh. That is, it is so cold that all the oxygen of the marsh is trapped in the ice. So basically, if you can heat up the whole planet, then it becomes a habitable planet. So his vision is to set up 2 artificial suns with atomic explosion, which will actually heat up the Mars. Okay, so great solution. But then I started to think, I said one more important ingredient for any life on any planet is the electromagnetic field. And without that, life cannot sustain. Uh, there are, scientists will agree with that. But if you ask a spiritual person will tell you life is not possible without electromagnetic field, because we all have electromagnetic fields. That's what we call soul. And every object on the earth has an electromagnetic field. And through that, there is a feedback system which is created for the earth. And that's what turns earth into an intelligent planet where earth can make its own choices. Now this was a theory that earth is an intelligent planet, was first propounded by the Gaia theory of James Lovelock. And so a lot of scientists, they had this doubt. Okay, so like scientists like Richard Dawson, they said, okay, but earth cannot be intelligent planet because there is no feedback system where all the species of earth can communicate with earth. But if you ask a spiritual person, he will tell you there is a feedback system, and that feedback system is our electromagnetic field. Through that, we are giving our feedback to earth, and earth is giving its feedback to us. So because Mars has a no electromagnetic field, almost it is absent, is there a technology to deal with that? And I'm asking this question, it is very, very important question for the survival of the earth, because one of the biggest problem today earth is facing, all these natural disasters and earthquakes which are rising in frequency, all hurricanes and floods. The basic reason, through my spiritual exploration, I've come to that earth's electromagnetic field is very weak. It cannot sustain the huge amount of plasma. So if we can just increase the electromagnetic field of the earth, that would save earth from lots and lots of disasters. So I was just wondering if there is something about enhancing electromagnetic field on a planetary level.
There's definitely a very interesting, thoughtful question, but it kind of goes beyond my academic capabilities. But from a fundamental perspective, like if you create water on Mars, water is conductive magnetic material, right? So you started creating all the pieces that can start having magnetism and create that magnetic field around. I don't know if that
will not
can
be
lead to
sufficient
development
because
of Mars.
Earth has a very strong dynamo inside the crest. So that is what gives the magnetic field to Earth. And Sandeep, I understand.
Yeah.
I did not expect you to answer, but what I will be very happy, because you are in that field of Tesla. If you can find the answer for this, I will be really happy, because while it may get applied to the Mars, it really needs to get applied to the Earth. And I really feel this is the answer for saving Earth from lots and lots of natural disasters. If we can raise the
I,
electromagnetic field of Earth, a lot of natural disasters will be resolved.
I will definitely look into that. Try and see
And
if I can get.
just to let everyone know here, we are trying to deal with this particular issue in a very spiritual manner, because we all have our auras, our electromagnetic field, and they're very crunched. So once you start to work on your aura, they start to expand. And when they expand, they also expand the aura of Earth. So 3 days back, I was speaking in World Parliament on spirituality, and I was speaking on that we think that 7 billion people on the earth, they are the drainage on earth resources. Actually, we can contribute to the earth, and our contribution is, if I can expand my aura, if I can expand my electromagnetic field, this is what the earth needs. So one of the Quanto Life vision is that all humans expand their electromagnetic field, and that gives strength to the earth. But maybe there could be a technological help too. So we are doing our bit spiritually, but there could be some technological help too.
Possible, yes, definitely possible.
Sandeep, I know you have to go. I hope you come back again, and we get to
Definitely.
interact with you longer. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
It's really an honor to have you here.
Thank you. It's my honor. Bye-bye.
Mansi, if you could have the certificates, Mansi.
Yes. So for Sandeep and Brajesh, we have a token of our love. So can I ask someone to share that?
Nitika will share that.
Yes.
Nancy, can you see?
Yes. Thank you, Nitika. This is a certificate of honor presented to Sandeep Sapatil for developing battery systems for energy storage applications, and from all of us at Quanto Life.
Sandeep, this is also Sandeep, this is also like a presence of Vishwakarma in your house. You are part of the Vishwakarma invocation, and this is the certificate with the Vishwakarma images. So it's like a kind of vibrational field of Vishwakarma flowing through this being near you. Hopefully it will help. We believe spirituality really helps innovation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you.
Can we have the
for
certificate
Brajesh
for
as
Brajesh
well?
as well?
Nancy, this is for Brajesh.
Yeah, so Brajesh, this is a certificate of honor to Brajesh Sapatil for being an innovator in the biomedical space. And thank you, Brajesh, for coming, and would love to interact with you more on this.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on. So if you have more questions, please put it on the Deva Magic. You're welcome to put questions for Brajesh and Sandeep on the Deva Magic WhatsApp group. In case you're not on the Deva Magic group, I request Rupali to put in the WhatsApp, to put the WhatsApp link on the chat. And now I invite Prachiti to invite our other honorees. Over to you, Prachiti.
Thank you so much, Mansi. Pranam, everyone on the forum today. I had been listening to this wonderful talk. All science, and science is anyways so fabulous. It is so attractive that as a student of school and college, we just can't stay away from science. We just can't stay away from innovation. And while the discussions were going on, I was reminded of one topic that we have in our syllabus. I'm a teacher in class 9 in CBSE syllabus, Central Board of Secondary Education. We have a lesson. It's titled "The Fun They Had." It is a story by Isaac Asimov. And a couple of years ago, when we used to teach it as language teachers, it seemed very far-fetched. It's a story set in 2000 50, where two children are meeting, the protagonists, and they're talking about some school that happened to exist in the past. That school used to be the type of schools we have now, in the sense the building, the culture of going to school and things like that. And those students actually have the type of schools that we have now in the pandemic times, the online teaching. So student just logs in from his home, from the comforts of his bedroom, and he has one-on-one lessons. A couple of years ago, that really looked like a science fiction, and now it is a reality, though it's a harsh reality, but it is a reality. So this is something uh, just wonderful as to how the turn of events that happen in the world suddenly can take a course that none of us really gets to imagine. So I welcome everyone here that we are discussing, and we are actually also trying to bring in the science as it exists now, and science that should exist in a matter of some time in future. And in the course of this felicitation ceremony that we have on this Quanto Life forum, I would now like to welcome Rajiv Chananji. May the spotlight be put on him. We've been introduced to him earlier, that he happens to be Shivo's, a good friend of Shivo's. Pranam, Rajiv ji.
Thank you, Prachidi. Thank you for having me.
Rajiv ji is actually a technology visionary. Now, this visionary word really takes a very different connotation when we talk about people who are into innovations. And we'll get to know soon as to what Rajiv ji indulges in, what type of innovations. But quickly, in a matter of 2-3 lines, I would like to sum up for the sake of audience as to who is Rajiv ji. Rajiv ji, please permit me.
Please, my pleasure of having on this panel. Please go ahead.
Thank you. He is a technology visionary, as I mentioned. He is a conceptualizer, designer of radical transportation logistics, and he has worked with ambient air purification technologies and systems. He, he basically follows his passion of reinventing and reimaging things after a long corporate career of more than 3 decades. So it's all about innovation, conceptualizing, really imagining in the mind and helping it manifest in reality. So, Rajiv ji,
Thank you,
um,
Prachi.
what type of transportation technology, and how do you think the transportation technology you worked with or are working with, how come that is going to be different from the sort of technology we are using now?
No, it's quite simple. It's actually quite simple. When we move around in the country, do we face problem? Do we face challenge in moving from one place to another? Now, if we accept that there is a problem,
Mhm.
if we accept there are congestion, if we accept that there is a pollution, if we accept there is a safety concern, if there is a problem that we can't cross the road on foot, there's a problem for pedestrian, there's a safety issue, then I think it requires simple thing is, if we accept that there is a problem, then there has to be a solution.
Right.
It's a very simple thing. Now, the solution somebody can think of, it's none of my problem, it is somebody else's problem. It is a governmental issue. But ultimately, in the government also, there is somebody, some human being, some person who would think about it. So it could be anybody. Now,
Right.
there could be somebody who accept these problems, understand it, and work for some time on a logical basis to come with some alternate system or some workaround.
Mhm.
If you are passionate about it, then probably, and you are little bit aspiring about it, you might end up doing the radical change.
So
You
Rajiv,
would
I
you
feel
would you would think you
yeah.
would think That road has been designed 100 years ago
Mhm.
when there were hardly any cars on it. Today, everybody seems to have cars. The roads still remain the same. When
So Rajiv,
everything has,
you are giving a sutra of innovation that look at the problems around you and take responsibility. Normally we are in the victim
simple.
mode. Oh, I can't do anything about it. This is a problem. So this is one of the sutra that when you see problems around you, take responsibility that there is something you can do about it, and you may be able to come up with some grand innovation, like what I feel Rajiv has really come up with. Yeah.
It's very simple. First, a problem has to be accepted that this is a problem.
Yeah.
It's simple. The most difficult part is accepting something as a problem. And then the solution. Technology nowadays is not a barrier. Technology is not an impossible thing. The most important aspect is accepting that there is a problem.
So what is your
And
solution?
and if somebody is trying to resolve the problem, then okay, you will have a workaround. If somebody is passionate about it, you will find a radical difference, a radical innovation.
So Rajiv, would you like to share that how does your concept work? The concept of
So,
mind.
so just to give you a story, I mean, how did we arrive at it? One fine day, you are going up the hill on a motorcycle between Manali to Rohtang, and suddenly you find the road blocked by a truck, which is which weigh almost like 8 to 10 tons and carrying husk, which probably is not even 100 kg in it, and spewing fumes, blocking roads. Nobody can, and causing huge traffic jam. Somebody need to think that there got to be a better way of transporting this husk up. It's that simple. So that the idea triggered a whole lot of series of thoughts. And as usual, you start with one problem and one dimension, you reach at 10 different dimensions. When you start digging as a engineer, sorry Shivo, when you start digging as an engineer, you try to find out more facts and figures, and those facts and figures continue to surprise everybody and create a perfect storm for an innovation, right? So you could be a passionate and work with your passion too, like you are doing for Quanto. But there could be other thing that you dig out, fact and figure, and those also create perfect storm. So just to give you a mind-boggling figure on the reason why it should motivate everybody to come out with innovation just in the field of transportation in India. In India, there are on an average every year we have 5 lakh accidents, which is like 1/3 population of Singapore. So every year we actually either kill, maim, or economically destroy 1/3 population equivalent people in India alone. So that should send actually, shivers down the spine of everybody that we that in India as a country we are doing this. The other so this is just one example. And other factor which everybody, I mean, I'm just giving you the data why it should motivate and it should inspire and it should actually people should be concerned to find a better way, is that India today has the second largest road network in the world and the highest density of road network in the world. And the highest density in terms of that we have almost like 1.5 kilometer road every square kilometer of area of the country. All numbers would point to how many road users have four-wheelers in the country. Four-wheelers, only less than 10% of the population owns four-wheeler. And the prediction is that by 2035, India would be second largest automobile market in the world. Now imagine that today we don't have a place to park when less than 10% people own four-wheeler car. What would be the situation?
How can people find out the solution? Maybe it is very difficult for you to explain what the solution is right now, very quickly, but how can people find out what is the solution you have designed?
I mean, it's again, I'm just giving, some pointers here.
Yeah.
Is that it could be, these are the problem statement for us to accept.
True. Yes.
Once we accept these problems, and there are 10 different paradigms like this, which actually point on very bleak disaster and very bleak future for us. And that should be sufficiently motivating for anybody to come up with their own innovation. Right? I may have come up with one, and this is a very broad field. I may have come up with one. Similarly, there are many things. In transportation specifically, there are huge challenges, and even globally.
Yes, please. Yes, Rajiv. Please.
Go ahead.
I have, yeah. Sorry, Rajiv ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Mansi.
So I had a question. So I had a couple of questions before you came in. Now I'm wondering which direction to go. And yes, what you did does run shivers down our spine. And being a spiritual group, I wanted to know what is causing these. What is the number one cause you would say for all these accidents that are being caused due to transportation? What is the reason?
So, I mean, it is easy thing for us to blame people. It's very convenient when you have no answer from anybody, blame it on people, right?
Okay.
People do not follow lane discipline in India, right? Often said. So when you look at the road, half of the road, you won't find lanes. So which lane to follow? We don't know. And more vehicles on the road are two-wheelers. So are there any lane for two-wheelers? Answer is no. So the reason are, in my opinion, are technical reasons. Maybe the roads are not meant for India. Maybe the roads are not meant for India. Maybe the rail is not meant for India. Maybe the roads were meant for US. So, I mean, this is the radical thinking. Maybe roads are not meant for India.
So are we going into the Pushpa Viman phase? Like, are we talking about like flightless? I mean, flying cars, because Tesla already sent a car up there in space.
So remember,
is that the future?
So remember, Tesla is trying to go to Mars, but Tesla is also trying to bring plane on the ground by Hyperloop. So they think flying is not an option. Flying is a huge waste of energy. So Elon Musk don't want anything flying. He wants everything on the surface. So it is, but that is meant. The point once again comes back to what is the problem definition and how do we accept the problem? If we accept that there is a problem, like in US, the problem is very simple. their skies are saturated, that there are no more number of slots where plane can fly. There are already so many airports that how many more airports you build? That's a problem. So Elon Musk has come up with a solution. He thought about it, he accepted this as a problem, he came up with the solution. Technology is not an issue, whether it is Hyperloop or boring. So similar way, the problem of India or any other country are a country specific. When we know that no one solution fits all, how come a solution like a road or rail fits the entire world same? It's not. It doesn't. It can't. So when India has a population density of 400 people per square kilometer compared to US, which has only 20 people per square kilometer, how can you justify an expressway or a freeway? There can't be any expressway or freeway in India. It is plain vanilla simple. So these things should be driving and motivating and making people mad to come up with innovation.
Yeah, so this is a great sutra. And the sutra is, I would like to say in through Einstein's quote, uh, when somebody asked Einstein, okay, I'm repeating this, and the reason I'm repeating, this is really the crux of some of the Quanto Sutras here. I'm going to repeat. I know I'm going to repeat this. So once it was asked to Einstein, what is your great talent? And Einstein said, I don't seem to have any great talent except that I'm extremely inquisitive. So the real talent is to ask questions. And one of the Quanto Sutra we follow is when you combine I know and I don't know, the mysteries of unknown are revealed to you. This is one of the Quanto Sutra we follow. So when you combine I know, so whatever you know about the problems on the road or whatever problem, you know about the problem, okay, after 3 years, there will be lack of potable water, or there could be droughts, or there could be, the whole of the Bihar may drown, in another 20 years, real danger. So now, what is your question about it? I don't know. What is your question? So when you combine I know and I don't know, and the mysteries of unknown will be revealed to you. And this is how I really feel the theory of relativity was revealed to Einstein by what he knew and the questions. So during the times of Einstein, there were two separate kind of physics. One was the Newton's physics of matter. Another was electromagnetic physics, mainly by James Clerk Maxwell. And these two physics, they presented a totally different worldviews, and they did not talk to each other. And Einstein was a great student of both. And he was always thinking that the reality of the world cannot be two, there has to be one. So he knew a lot, and he had the questions he kept asking. And one of the great things about Einstein is, again, it's my favorite example to say that what is the role of spirituality in technology innovations. So it is said that for years, Einstein sat on his roof every night. He would just keep looking at skies. And probably he got so familiar with the whole space, cosmos, that one day this theory of relativity was revealed to him, which actually unified both the totally diverse, dimensions of physics. So it defined while the Newton's, physics defined gravity for Earth, Einstein defined the gravity in cosmic terms. And if Einstein did not define gravity that way, we wouldn't be having the geosatellites, because the calculation of those orbits is done with the theory of relativity. The gravity is calculated through Einstein's formula and not through Newton's formula. So the spiritual concept is, what you know and what you don't know, when there is a synthesis of both, the mysteries are revealed to you. So, Rajiv, thank you very much for explaining that how you are so acutely aware of what we know, but we don't even see what we know. That is the issue, right? And then you are in questions. You are saying, okay, how does it solve? One day it is revealed to you. So, thank you very much for sharing this. Yes, Mansi. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for interaction. Actually, that I had my question: how can spirituality come up with, combined with this technology? Rajiv ji, it was wonderful to have you today, but I hope we can have a longer chat with you
Sure.
on many more questions. So I hope you can come again for a longer chat.
Sure, will do.
Thank you so
We
much.
have a small token for Rajiv ji. I would request Nitika to share her screen and the small token that we have from Quanto Life. Rajiv ji, this is here, the token. Rajiv ji being felicitated for being the designer of radical eco-friendly transportation system.
Thank you so much,
Congratulations. And
Prachati.
thank you so much for joining us. As Mansi says and Shivo also requests, we can have many more interactions, longer ones, and topic specific in future.
My
Thank you again.
pleasure. Thank
Thank
Yeah.
you.
you for joining us, Rajiv. Keep joining.
Sure.
Um, we have Ranjit ji who has joined again. He had some important calls, so he couldn't be around. But now I can see him. Ranjit ji,
Yeah,
welcome back.
yeah, no, well,
Yeah. Uh, in the beginning of the session itself, we had a small interaction. Shivo had a small interaction with Ranjitji, and the audience knows that he is somebody who's already worked on what all we had been discussing about robots, about inspiration. And I would again reiterate what we got to know about Ranjitji, that he is the one who has designed an emotional robot, as he says, who's named Rashmi. And she's the first robot um, uh, that can sync, the lip syncing, and that too in Hindi. Ranjit ji,
yeah.
would you like to
So,
add this? Yeah.
yeah, she's world's first Hindi-speaking humanoid robot, which speaks in Marathi and Bhojpuri also, other than English language. And she's India's only lip-syncing humanoid robot.
Ranjit ji
And
had requested for a video to be played, and I would just inquire, Nitika ji, if we are ready with that video, if you could share the
Let me
video.
try. Prachiti Manthi, can you do it?
Yeah, can you put the link on this? I don't want to move my laptop. It is like
Yes.
very delicate. Just put that again. So Ranji ji, while she does that, there was this very famous fiction story called Helen O'Loy. I don't know if you know that. It was like one of the winners in science fiction. And instead of Helen of Troy, it was a robot made of alloy, so it was Helen O'Loy. And she would do, like the creator actually married her, and she was able to, really be she was like the perfect woman. And Brijesh gave it to me. My husband gave it to me. Um, at some point, and I was like, is this what you're expecting me? And I was thinking we better get married, because if Helen Olyke comes, I'm gone. Like, there's no chance for me. This is the ultimate dream girl that he can have.
in 5 or 10 years, its time is coming
It is
when
going to
relationship
happen.
between the human being and machine will be started. And that will be a revolution day for me, I think, in if it comes in the world. And I think so.
But I would say, I would say there is something humans have which robots cannot have, and
Mhm.
that is to uh, you know to behave in a way which is completely unexpected. Because the
Mhm.
robots, they will always work on the programming. You can have huge amount of programming, you can have huge amount of networking, you can have all the data of the world, and they can be perfect. But the point is, life is unpredictable. Next moment, which is going to happen, is still unpredictable. And it's only the
Yeah, you are right, sir.
Yes.
I would like to say,
We were discussing right in the beginning, what is that human capability which robots cannot have? And that capability I have already mentioned few times now, that ability to tap the unknown. Because when you tap the unknown, that's when you can program the robot. Robot needs to be programmed again and again, isn't it?
But my view is, I think that human being is almost a replica of complex robot, because mind is itself self a machine. As long as human being lives in his thoughts and mind, he cannot be more than a robot. And yeah,
that is
and
why human have to now explore their consciousness dimension, which is beyond the mind dimension, and that's where they are. They have a dimension which is not available to robots. I really love your spiritual perspective, Rajiv. I really love and admire that.
and how we behave, actually, we from very childhood have been programmed to behave in a specific manner. For example, if anybody says something bad to us, so how we interpret? We interpret on the basis of what language we have learned, that this is good or bad. There is a me, self inside every person, that is ego. And whole the life he moves around the ego, satisfying that ego. That is the structure of a human being, basically. And what he learns from the society, and it creates a huge database of what is good for me, what is bad for me, and on the basis of that he behaves, he responds. Then when I observed and realized these things, I thought that it can completely be replicated into a programming language. Not 100% right now, but it can evolve by time. And after maybe 4 or 5 years, there will be a very little difference. If a robot girl is sitting before you and a real girl is sitting before you, and she has the emotions and everything, then it will be very difficult. And realistic robot, then it will be very difficult to differentiate the two, because the person interacting with a robot, if robot surpasses the intelligence of that person, then he can never differentiate between the two person. And that will be the time when it will enter in the human life. And yeah,
So that reminds me of a movie called Road. I think this movie was called Road, and it was produced by Mansi. Do we have his video, the robot video? Maybe I'll just narrate this anecdote in a minute.
Yes, Shivo, we have. I'm ready to share.
Yeah. So let me just narrate this anecdote. It just clicked me right now. See, this is the beauty of human mind. I was thinking about this. It just clicked in me right now. This is tapping the unknown. Okay, though what I'm narrating is from the past, but it is how relevant here. So a lot of people know about Arindam Chaudhary, and he made a movie. It was many years back, maybe 10, 15 years. I don't remember now. And he claimed, because I am going to make a movie which is based on market survey. So he did a huge market survey. Okay. That was, okay, what kind of story you like, what kind of clothes the hero should wear, heroine should wear, what should be his face cut, what her eyes should be blue or green or red or whatever, and what should be her figure, everything he figured out, whether it should end in tragedy. And then he claimed, because I have done such a huge market research and I made a movie exactly what people want, this will be the most super hit movie ever. This is what his claim was. He even came out with big advertisements in the paper claiming tomorrow movie is coming and this will be the best, biggest super hit movie ever. And this will be the grand success of product research. And you know what happens to that movie? Completely bombs. Nobody goes to watch that movie. You know why? Because people go to the movie not to watch they are expecting. They go to the movie to watch what they are not expecting. So, however great a robot girl is, but if her behavior is what people are already expecting, it may be the best behavior. But people are expecting in a human relationship, people have best of the relationship. They've got everything, very smart husband, beautiful wife, all kind of money, everything is there. Why they're unhappy? Why they are unhappy? Everything is perfect, but they're unhappy. Why? Because there is no mystery in the relationship. There is no wonder. What is wonder? When a child looks at the squirrel first time, he says, oh my God, what is that? When we have those moments in relationship, the aha moments, that's what creates a relationship. And that's where I feel robots can never replace humans. But as
Yeah.
you rightly said, humans are mostly behaving like robots. They are living in their sad patterns. So my point is, let's break our patterns, let's dissolve them, let's start to channel the unknown, the moment to moment consciousness. And that's your sutra to tap the dimension which robots can never tap.
I totally agree with you. What I added the thing that uh, it human behaves like a robot as long as he lives in a pattern, in a mind, and mind is complete a programmed machine for me, and he behaves in a completely pre and what expected uh, ways, in a expected ways, in expected patterns. When he starts to live from his consciousness, then he cannot live like a robot, and he is then completely unexpected, what you say, unpredictable, and then he connects to the life, and then it goes beyond the mechanical things of the mind, mechanical patterns of the mind. Then robot can never reach that level. But till till then, human being is whenever he's living in his mind, in thoughts, he's living based on the experiences that he has gained from his childhood. Robot can very in near future can surpass human being, because robots will learn faster than human being, and lot of things will be greater than human being, because what you are saying, unexpected, human behaves, human behave in a unexpected way in the relationship. That is also a basic thing. Basic, it means deeper, uh, deeper layer of a an expected a pattern.
No, but I'm not talking about that. I know
Yeah.
that there are very deep layers of conditioning. Even
Yes,
that can be robotized.
yes.
I am talking about the moment where,
Beyond that,
where Einstein is saying, my God, Newton and James J. Maxwell, they have two different worldviews, but the world is one. Why they have two different worldviews? And he's thinking, he is gone into that unknown and his mind has dropped. He cannot understand, and something is revealed to him. And it's not that these moments come only to Einstein. To all of us, these moments can come, depends on how free we are from our patterns. So
it
this,
is already there. It is already there. Just we have to recognize that there is a whole, there is a completeness inside this thought and mind and this body. There is a very deep layer, and that connects to the whole universe. That if anybody
right,
recognizes that
yeah,
structure, then it already frees that person. So if if he goes to that level, then obviously there is no use of robot in the world. But till then, it is required thing, and it will change the lives of human being.
Ranjit, today I am feeling
Mhm,
so beautiful.
mhm,
Proud may be a wrong word, but let me use that word. I'm also
mhm,
feeling very proud.
mhm.
And I always believe in this, that there is something about India, the consciousness of India, which India is supposed to contribute to the world. But when I'm interacting with you, actually, I am seeing that intelligence alive in you, while a lot of scientists around the world, they're still struggling, and they are worried, oh my God, that tomorrow the artificial intelligence will take over humans and we'll be slaves. You are so very clear about what robot cannot do, but those people across the world, they are not clear what robots cannot do. They think robot can do everything. But I really, kudos to you, Rajiv. I would like to see you make difference on the global level, because there is something you know which people across the world don't know. I really, really appreciate that. And I just want to let you know, I'm really so happy to have met you. I was looking to meet an artificial intelligence expert who has this understanding. And actually, I'm also inviting you to work with us in Quanto Life, because Quanto Life is a stream where we are constantly connecting, jumping into the unknown, and we are revealing and channeling the unknown. So I'm really inviting you to be part of Quanto Life, and we can innovate a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. And we can show his, yeah, let's have a look at the video of his robot. Yeah.
ये आपके साथ किसको लाए हैं आप? ये मेरी इन्वेंशन है रश्मि, दुनिया की पहली हिंदी बोलने वाली रोबोट। अच्छा, ये तो कमाल का है। क्या क्या करती है रश्मि? रश्मि के अंदर भावनाएं हैं और ये सामने वाले की भावनाओं को समझ सकती है। तो हमारे साथ बात करेंगी रश्मि? जी बिल्कुल। रश्मि, अगर आपको फिल्म में रोल मिले तो आपका हीरो कौन होगा? रजनीकांत। जितनी तेजी से हमारी दुनिया आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की तरफ बढ़ रही है, उस हिसाब से ज्यादा दूर नहीं है जब हम सबके पास अपना अपना खुद का एक रोबोट होगा। आपकी उम्र कितनी होगी? 2 साल 5 महीने 4 दिन 3 घंटे 21 मिनट और 22 सेकंड। 23 24 25 26 27। क्या आप बिरयानी की रेसिपी बता सकती हैं? जरूर। आप किस बिरयानी की रेसिपी जानना चाहती हैं? हैदराबादी बिरयानी, लखनवी बिरयानी, कोलकाता बिरयानी, मुगलई बिरयानी, मालाबारी बिरयानी, सिंधी बिरयानी। बाप रे, थोड़ी सी सार्कास्टिक भी है आपकी रश्मि। हाँ, हमें चढ़ाकर बड़े नखरे से बोलती। जाते जाते मैं आप सबको कुछ कहना चाहती हूँ। कहिए। अच्छा चलती हूँ, दुआ में याद रखना, मेरे जिक्र का जुबां पे स्वाद रखना। दिल के संदूकों में अपने अच्छे काम रखना रश्मि, चिट्ठी तारों में अपना सलाम रखना। बाय बाय।
So that was actually guest appear.
Really awesome.
They invited to showcase the robot on their platform. So it was there.
Ranjit, I have a question. I'm going to get a little naughty. So so the face of Rashmi, who did you base that on?
Actually, I fortunately or unfortunately, I like Nepali people, right? Okay. So I made the face something resembling to.
So you designed it. It was your idea.
Yes.
Wow. I want to ask if you're married, but okay.
Yeah, I am married, but that doesn't mean to anything.
But your wife doesn't.
I'm just.
Your wife doesn't feel threatened by Rashmi.
Exactly. I'm like.
If I say wives are more robotic than robot, then it will not be a joke. But sometimes she becomes little jealous, because when I go to shopping and shop for the Rashmi, for clothes and everything, then she gets little jealous that this much passion you don't have for me to buy anything. So these things I face sometimes.
Ranjit, I'm actually, when you're talking, I'm actually feeling that what used to be a sci-fi story is now real. It's becoming more and more, the line between sci-fi and reality is really blurring, really.
And it was a very fast made robot. In within just 2 years, she's the fastest made robot ever in the world, humanoid. So that is also thing. But see, there is some time, but I believe in next 5-10 years, the level of relationships that we have, it can be surpassed easily by the robots. We don't have deep relationship. We have very shallow relationship, very superficial relationships everywhere. These relationships can easily be surpassed by robots can have little more deeper relationship than human being. Right now, I'm not talking about the person who has gone too deep, but right now we have very superficial relationships everywhere. Everybody is here to find something for himself or herself. Here nobody is to give something to someone. And these will be, I believe firmly that these will be only robots which can give to human being, because they can be programmed to not expect for themselves or like thing. So then the people will feel little more satisfied with robot relationships. I believe so.
So Ranjit, what I feel is it is going to push the envelope. So it is going to. I feel that if robot is fulfilling a need in a human being, then I think that as human beings we are going to discover how some of our own patterns and relationships, and we are going to strive to be even better. Because I think competition never hurt anyone. So I feel it's good. It's good, like for example, if my husband made that robot and I got jealous, then it would push me to be like, okay, where am I not, where am I lacking? It would bring that into my awareness. And I would be like, okay, what do I need to, how do I go to the next level? So it might even be a,
yes,
it might be a ladder. It might be a ladder to a more meaningful and deeper relationships.
Mansi, this is unfair that most of the robot designers are males and they're going to keep creating female robots and creating more.
There's a reason
more
for that. Shivo, there's a reason for that.
I really think there were male designers too will create male robots.
And Shivo, because the reason is that women have the capacity to modify, to not modify, but to work on their husbands, and husbands are unable to do that, so they have to create robots.
No, but I little don't believe that, because women, I think, will not create any robot, because whenever they become mother, as nature has made, they become satisfied and they become complete. Only incomplete is and only incomplete creature is man. Man is incomplete whole the life. That's why they are more creative and they are every time finding something, looking for something to satisfy themselves. Women become satisfied.
Amen, Ranjit. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so women don't have that much passion to find something or to get something than men. And second thing, that right now female don't need that much of that things need men actually need. Women have surplus of love everywhere, I believe. Right now, everywhere surplus of love, surplus of attention. These will be helpful for those people who don't get, or who are lonely, or who can't get a friend or something. These robots will help those people a lot. For example, you imagine if some disabled person is there and he thinks, I could have a Katrina Kaif kind of wife or girlfriend. See, he goes to some website, he selects the face, look alike Katrina Kaif. We have aggressive, cool, or something, and what use, friend, tutor, or whatever. And a almost living robot comes to her home by delivery, then it can change their lives. So, lot of loneliness will be removed from the world, but that is not the ultimate solution. I believe that, as Shiva said, that it is not the ultimate solution that human should have. This is a temporary arrangement, better than the superficial relationships of human being. But the ultimate solution, love is also there, peace is also there, inner wholeness is also there. We need to just recognize, but till then it's only temporary arrangements. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ranjit. Can I request? I think we'll keep having this conversation. It is fascinating. And Ranjit, I even feel like, as Shiva said, I feel we have a vibe. You know, I think you are really vibing with our quantum vibrational field. I think we are all feeling it. So I would definitely would love to interact more on that. And may I invite Nitika to share our token of love? Swapnil Ji could not make it for some reason. So
Yeah. Thank you so
So,
much.
Ranjiji, here is our token from Quanto Life. Uh, we felicitate you for creating Rashmi, India's first lip syncing Hindi speaking
Honored.
robot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us and congratulations.
So honored. Thank you. So should I leave?
Ranjit, stay
Yeah.
for, there is something I'm going to discuss. Maybe that will get you interested.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think you are an innovator who can work not just on robotics, but on anything, because you are dealing in unknown. So there's something I'm going to discuss now.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah. Thank you, Shiva. So, okay. So I am leaving now. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
thank you, Ranjit.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye. We'll connect you soon again, people.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shivu, do you have time for a question before we go into invocation? I know it's getting late. Do you have time for a question or two?
Yes. What question?
Which we had, yeah. So on WhatsApp you had been. I think we'll not go into that in the interest of time, but I want to ask you a question. So on WhatsApp we've been talking about, the technologies that changed the world, and and then you posted this question that what is one technology which is extremely simple and it can hugely impact the world. In fact, it can take us to Satyug. And would you like to reveal, because we had a lot of guesses, would you like to reveal what do you think that technology is?
Right. So, okay. So I want to build little anticipation actually.
Okay.
So, okay. So I'm asking everyone, what is the biggest problem in the world today? What is the biggest problem in the world?
Corona.
Sorry? Yeah, you can just keep posting on chat. So Mukul says lack of love, energy, and lack of happiness. Yes. Lack of satisfaction. Yeah. Self-love, soulfulness. Cool. So thank you very much. I would say all answers are correct, but I will define that word. What is the biggest problem in the world today is trust deficit. People don't trust each other. So when you say something to other person, that person, okay, thank you for saying lack of trust. Yes. Yeah. Now money is not the big problem, Mitesh. Lack of money doesn't stop anyone from doing anything. The people who have done greatest of things, they started with no money. and money is not the problem. So when you say something to someone, other person don't believe that what you're saying is true, and it is because of that people don't buy what you produce because they don't believe you. It is because of this there are huge number of, there is a huge advertising, because when people don't believe uh, what you're saying about your product, then they have to bring in a celebrity who say, I have used this product, so these are the benefits and all. Why they have to do all this advertising? Because people don't believe you, isn't it? Why there are, we spend so much of time in conflicts in relationship. Why? Because people don't believe each other, right? There is a huge amount of, there would be some HR professional here, so somebody goes to an interview and that person gives some fact, but the interviewer don't believe him. Interview don't believe the interviewer what they're saying about company, right? So lack of trust deficit is the biggest problem in the world. Political leader come to your house, says, I will do this, this, and this, and you don't believe him, right? There's a huge amount of trust deficit everywhere. And I feel that it is because of a trust deficit, our 90%, 95% energy is dissipated just in that, just in countering with the trust deficit. And our creative application of our energy is only 5%. How about there is a simple equipment which can bridge this trust deficit? How about that? No, I think I've given enough indication. A lot of you can now, even suggest that what am I talking about? Any idea what am I talking about? One technology, simple technology, which can transform the world. Mitesh, I'm talking about trust deficit now. I'm very specific. Is there a technology which can deal with trust deficit? Very simple technology. You can own it. The problem is not in technology. No, it's not networking. Okay, how many of you used to watch that show? Probably it used to come on Star Plus, I think. That show was probably called Sach Ka Samna. It was many years back. I was very excited always about watching that. And I already dreamt that what is happening on the show happens everywhere in the world. Sadly, that show ended after 2 seasons. There was no third season. How many of you have watched? Anybody knows? Anybody knows about that show, Sach Ka Samna? I think that was the name. I may be wrong in the name, but it was something like that. Anybody has an idea? Yes, Mukul. So can you share what was that, Mukul? What was that show about?
I'm not remembering the technique that they used, but there is a scientific technique that they used to know whether the person is saying truth or not. They would ask the participants very personal questions, and it takes very lot of courage to say the truth, and that was the show all about.
Yes. So how if you had something at your home by which you can just check everything, whether the person is saying the truth or not? It could just tell you whether a marketing person comes and says, oh, this is what my product is. You say, okay, just keep your hand here and say that. And then machine says, beep, 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 you are true or false. Simple. Yeah, so Manisha, it is called lie detector test, but I really wish that this technology is renamed as trust creator and not lie detector. So we don't want to use it to detect lies. We want to use this to create trust. Can you imagine if people around you are speaking truth, how much of your life will just get resolved simply? Political leaders come asking for votes, and you say, okay, what is your plan for this? You really want to do this? Keep your hand here and say that. And you know whether he's, can you see that this can even cleanse politics? It can even just remove, all the huge amount of millions of the cases which are there in the courts. Why we have cases which are running into 10 years and 20 years? Because somebody is saying, I am saying the truth, and that truth has to be verified, checked. It takes years to verify and check. And still, the verification and truth fact check is so bad. So bad. So the justice is not there. Right. So how many of you think that if that machine is applied everywhere, it was in every office, it was in every home, what do you think this machine can do? My God, I'm suddenly having this signal. I'm suddenly having this signal from quantum vibrational field, like something has just happened. And I'm really feeling it has gotten seeded. Yes, Tanmay, I'll come to this, whether people can trick it or not. So I really thought a lot that what is that one technology which can really turn this world into a beautiful place, and that technology is available and it can be easily applied, and this is the answer I came with. So yes, so thank you very much. There is so much feedback coming. Also doubt has come, and I will talk about that. Whether people will be able to trick the machine. Yes, some people will be able to trick the machine, maybe 1%. But you know how many people are tricking our justice system today? Maybe 30, maybe 50%, 70% people are tricking. And this machine is far better. It may have a 90% accuracy or whatever. And second thing, when they trick, there will be a way to catch them also. Because how they trick, basically, they, through their third eye, they will control their response so that their lie is not caught. But the moment they use third eye, there could be a machine to check whether they are activating their third eye right at that moment or not. So even there are tricks, so the technology can become better. Yes, people will try to trick it, and maybe still some people will still trick it. We don't know. But it is still better than everything else, actually. I mean, even if you don't have 100% truth in your life, let's say if you have 90% truth in your life, just imagine how the life is. Right? Now I want to ask, now I'm just feeling there is so much harmony flowing on the chat. I'm asking why, if this machine is available, right? But why we haven't used it? What is the reason? Just think deeply about it. What is the reason why we don't use this? So are there any responses? No machine, no, Mukul, you can make portable machine. If it is not portable, you keep it at home.
So I just want to add, they actually have even toy versions of this, which actually work to some degree, which are like available in our local stores also. Shiva, they are not very accurate, so it can be portable. Though those all problems don't exist.
Right, now the real answer. Thank you very much. Real answers people are giving. Fear, Manisha says, Poonam says, we are scared. Good. So what are we scared of, Poonam?
Actually facing the truth. We are scared of facing the truth.
Right. We are scared of facing our own truth. All of us have something which we want to hide. We don't want world to
hide. We all want to hide something.
All want to hide. And you know what? In hiding of that, there are a lot of pure souls. Even they are scared because they may have just 1% to hide. 90% their life is open, 99%, just 1%. Can you imagine if we can just let go of that fear, right? That it's okay. If we made a mistake, it's okay. We did not stick to that moral, it's okay. Right? Can we become forgiving to ourselves, forgiving to others, right? We can say, okay, you made a mistake, it's okay. We all are humans. When making mistake is no more shameful and we can really forgive people, this is the real block for use of machine. If we can cross this, if we can cross this psychological barrier, we can really make this world a much better place. So we have this psychological barrier. We want to hide something about ourselves. Mansi, I'm feeling that this is what we should take in today's invocation, that our fear to face our own truth, our feeling that, oh my God, what will happen to me if people know this? And we really access the courage that it's okay, we made that mistake. We are able to forgive others, we are able to forgive ourselves. And really, I'm setting this intention that this is such a simple technology available to us and it really gets used. A lot of people talk about, how bad politicians are and how they never fulfill their promises. Isn't that simple? The moment if some number of people start to use this machine, the false political leader will never dare to come there.
Shivo, now you're talking. Political leaders.
Right.
Now you're talking. So I must mention that I had a concern, yesterday, because there are sometimes innocent people who might be branded as liars, and I was concerned about that. So that's what I was sharing with Shivo.
Yeah, in courts also, so many
Right.
people are branded as liars, right? But this machine will make it better. Actually, it won't make the scenario worse. I mean, there are somebody is coming for interview, that person is lying. Company interviewing, that person is lying. Isn't it? How much lies there around us? Right? Somebody comes for marketing, you see lie all the time on the TV. There is advertising and there is a big celebrity, he has taken 3 crore rupees. That person is lying that I use this product. How about telling him that, okay, keep your hand here and say that you use this product?
But Shivo, I think the politicians will kill that person who will make that machine.
No, that machine is already there. Now, the thing is,
it is already being used. It is already being used by CIA.
Yeah, but
or
then it is,
KGB.
but that's on a very smaller scale. Like if it is on a huge scale,
available as a
kill that person.
No, machines are also available as consumer durables, small toy.
Yeah, there are toys also in Walmart. You get it. I actually was searching yesterday. There's a toy one which actually works. It's just not that accurate. Available even for kids. For $20. I was like, we should go get it. It might be fun.
What if there are 10,000 people have bought this machine? Then who can stop that actually?
Shivo, I have a very different opinion on this.
Yeah.
Lie is completely ingrained in our way of living. A simple question from a wife of how am I looking? If the real
I totally agree. I'm not talking about the half truth. Okay.
No, I'm talking about lie. Today, courtesy is nothing but a polite lie.
So we all need to go beyond that. As people, we need to go beyond the courtesies. Right? We really need to access our real feelings. Otherwise, we are robots, like Ranjit was talking, right? I mean, if you don't want that, if you want to listen to something nice, then buy a robot. Why you want a human?
Yeah, you're right. But Shivo, my point is that something like this is a very radical thing. We have so many years and generations and ages of conditioning to be able to speak a polite lie rather than the brutal truth.
Are we ready?
Are we ready to face it?
Do we know what is the cost of that, and are we ready to go beyond it? Is the question.
So my question, Sanjay, would be that, okay, yes, that would create, because we tell all these white lies so many times. But you know what? When you actually look good and your husband says that, that will have more power than the 100 times he has given that white lie. The one day he'll actually say that you look amazing.
I
actually need so much more.
But
It's a paradigm changer. I completely agree, Sanjay. It's a paradigm changer.
So the point,
And we'll all need synthesis. You know, if this thing comes up, right, there is no way we can do without synthesis, because
Mansi, the moment I started to say about it, the moment there is a different vibration I felt all around me. I know this idea is now seeded. So let's invite this idea in today's Vishwakarma invocation. Let's invite the ideas. Let's invite the people who will build it on mass scale, right? Let's invite the idea how people will adopt it very quickly, right?
And you know, Sanjay, like actually one more thing before we go ahead. So many years ago when Shiva was writing the Yoga Cycle book, you know, we did this synthesis of going into future. And somehow it went a different turn for me. And I felt like I was going through different yogas. And what I saw in the ascending Satyuga is everyone is transparent. Like I could just see like every single living being is transparent. So you can exactly see what everyone, like, how will you lie? Because everyone just, everything is transparent and you can just see through. Even the talents, you know, like the moment you see someone's talent or something, you know, you are so receptive, so transparent, it comes to you and it becomes a part of you, and everyone is going towards oneness.
Yes.
And that was Satyug for me.
That is the point. You know, when we let go of these kind of walls, we are, all of us together are going to take a huge leap because we really become one. You know, when there is no trust deficit, when we really trust each other, we all become one. It's a really a spiritual issue. This what I talked about is not a radical technology. It's very, very simple. It's available. It's really a consciousness issue.
Shivo, I would like to bring a new dimension here. Then,
please.
In today's invocation, rather than we having the power to be able to find the truth, can we pray for the courage to be able to face the truth?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. That is the biggest block, that we do not have courage to face our own truth. That is a block for this machine.
Yes.
So let's look at the most heinous thing we have done ever, or wherever we think we have wronged. Let's look into those incidences. Can we forgive ourselves? Can we say, okay, it's okay if people know about this, right?
Yeah, right. Thank you.
So let's start. So invite everyone to get into the invocation phase. I really feel Vishwakarma is already here, so we don't need to do much. Just give me a minute, okay?
Mansi, Nitika here. While we are waiting for Shivo, I wanted to share with our participants that we have recently concluded our batch of Dissolve Your Conflicts. And as Shivo was talking about experiencing Quanto Life, I would recommend that, we have our next batch, which is starting on 8th of January. Rupali, can you just share your number on the chat, so then whoever is interested, if you want to really experience, you want to expand your aura, you want to dissolve the conflicts in your life, please reach out, share your number in the chat, and either Rupali or me, who my name is Nitika, we will connect with you and share more details about the program. It's a 9 days program wherein the whole intent is to expand your aura, to dissolve the conflicts which you may be having in your life. So Rupali has shared a number. I'm also going to share. Please reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Natika. Natika, do you also happen to have our team photo, our DM team photo?
Mansi, currently I'm not able to display
Okay,
it.
no
So,
problem,
yeah.
no problem.
I'll share it on the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shivo, I just want to thank a couple of people before we uh, go into invocation space. I want to thank Manishji. He's no longer in the meeting, but I want to thank him for introducing us to Ranjit ji. And I want to thank the DM team. I want to thank Atin for making these wonderful, amazing posters and certificates. Karthik, who's Rashi's son, who's a teenager, for designing these backgrounds. Rupali for handling all the promos, and just a lot of coordination with many aspects of it. And also for having these very, very observant eye that she can spot mistakes. Prachiti for all the background, I mean, of course, for being on screen, but also for all the background work that goes to and fro, and really taking care of that. And of course, Shivu, you are master guide. I want to thank Mukul for all his helpful comments and feedback as we go along.
Mansi,
And yes, Shivu.
be honest, thank yourself also.
Thank you. I'm so grateful I get to do this, and I get to interact with you, Shivu, and also to the larger audience, really. And who else? Yeah, and Rashi for being like, she is becoming our live star reporter, who keeps sharing what's happening here in our other WhatsApp groups, I think in our other WhatsApp universes. So thank you so much, Rashi. And of course, to the core team for always supporting, whenever our team, they are there with us. So thank you so much.
Also, I request everyone present here, if you know any wonderful people, send their recommendations to us. And when we have the relevant theme, we would love to honor them. So if you know any people who are wonderful, just send their recommendations. Yes, so can we now move into the invocation? I think I'm feeling that space all around me actually. And just close your eyes. I request everyone to go into the position where you can directly move into Shavasana. If possible, go into the sleep. Otherwise, you can just go into Shavasana for 15 minutes and get up. And
Can you remind everyone that once you give the direction to go to Shavasana, we will turn off the meeting. The meeting will close by itself.
will close, and whatever your experiences are, we invite you to share on the WhatsApp group. Yes, so close your eyes, please. Relax. Deep. Breathe from your belly. Breathe from your belly. Every breath, you are becoming more and more relaxed. Many of you will be feeling vibrational field all around you. And let's repeat Quanto 3 times, and that field will become even more intense. Quanto, Quanto, Quanto. That field is all around us. Now let's scan our body, head to toe. Feel each and every part of your body. Be present to that body part and feel it. Feel your head, top of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your temples, your lips, your nose, your mouth, your jaws, your chin. Feel back of your head, your neck. Feel your shoulders. Feel your chest, your stomach, top of your back, your spinal cord, middle of your back, lower back. Feel whole of your top of the body, top part of your body vibrating. Feel your waist, your thighs, your genitals, the knees, the legs, the ankles, the heels, the sole, the toes. Also feel your hands, elbows, palms, thumbs, and fingers. Now you can feel your whole body vibrating. Feel the vibration spreading in your aura too. Now we fold our hand and invite Vishwakarma ji. So take his name 3 times. Vishwakarma ji, Vishwakarma ji, Vishwakarma ji. And you can feel his presence around you. Imbibe his presence into you. Now look at your own emotions. What happened to you when you heard this idea of the trust machine? Did that idea excite you? Did you really feel that this can change the world if employed? If this idea is adopted by masses, is this going to change the world? Feel that. Will it make world much better? What kind of problems in the world it can solve? Feel those problems. Court cases pending in courts for tens of years, truthful people not getting justice, political leaders speaking lies, marketeers trying to sell their wares, telling you lies, people speaking lies in interviews for job or when they are meeting for marriage purposes. How these lies affect us. Feel that in your body. Have you faced such incidents of lies in your life? And how did those incidents affect you? And all this can be solved very easily. It's very simple to solve it. We are excited about this possibility of a truthful world. But now we also have fear because we also have something to hide. So can we face ourselves? What is the worst thing you have ever done? Just feel that. There are vibrations of that inside you. The worst thing you have ever done, the acts of deceit, act of harming others. Can we forgive ourselves for that? Can we forgive others of what they did? Can we face our own truth? If we can face our own truth, we can transform the world around us. It's very simple. This fear to face ourselves, this is the real block. So what are your worst fears? What will people know about you? May Vishwakarma guide us on the right path, on how this technology can move forward, get seated in the mass consciousness. What will be the steps, the action plan? And I can really feel right now the vibrational field. It is really shaking at the root chakra. That means a lot of people here are facing the survival issue. Can they really face themselves? And I'm inviting you to be the brave ones, the courageous ones. Face your truth. It's okay. If we can face the truth, we can change the world. And now I can suddenly feel this fear of survival receding, and I can feel much more trust right now. This is all happening in the vibrational field right now. And let's seed our intention. We already have the technology which can change the world and which can be easily adopted by the masses if we can just face our own truth. So let's have the courage to face our own truth. Now I invite everyone to go into deep Shavasana. Keep equal weight on both sides of your body. Be in Shavasana for minimum 10 minutes. If possible, go directly into sleep after Shavasana. If you need Shavasana more than 10 minutes, be in that. Thank you very much for joining for this very, very powerful session. Thank you so much. Shubh Ratri.